Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to go over my top 10 tips to give your new parent patients, or if you have a patient who's pregnant and is looking for the advice. I have top 10 tips, and I'm not saying they're all reasonable. I'm not saying I did all 10. Sometimes it's not possible. It is often not possible to do all 10. But in the back of your mind, you should have all these tips ready to go to give your patients whenever they have a new baby or they're about to have a new baby, so that they can be on the straight and narrow and make the right decisions to avoid orthodontic treatment. That doesn't mean if you do all 10 that you won't need orthodontic treatment. It'll just lessen the need, or perhaps lessen the severity of what would have already happened. Now remember, my channel is meant for dentists to educate them. It's not a substitute for medical advice, dental advice. It is, so if you don't like my tips, I'm sorry. There is research to back every single one of these up, as well as my own experience. I do have, a lot of this is covered in our phase 1 course, which is for dentists. It's available at straightsmilesolutions.com, but everything in my phase 1 course is actually extracted from my YouTube channel. There's a phase 1 playlist that has all that information and way more. It's just hundreds of hours instead of just 13 hours of high level. So, and it doesn't come with CE. So I don't care if you pay for my course, you want to watch the free videos, whatever. The information is there. You can dig into it a little bit more. Like I said, this is just my clinical opinion, also based on a lot of research. If you want to read 2 books and watch 1 short Netflix movie that helps to supplement a lot of this, I'm going to recommend 2 books and a movie that maybe you want to watch first just to get you primed. One is called Breathe. I believe it's called Breathe, unless it's called Breath. And it's a bright yellow book. I think that one's written by James Nestor. The other one is called Jaws, and sorry, I don't remember who wrote Jaws, but it has like a panoramic x-ray and teeth on the front. It's like black and gray. And then the movie is called Open Wide, and it may not be out there forever, but it's definitely out there in 2024 early. It just released. It's very good. So read the 2 books. They're easy reads. They're not meant for dentists necessarily. And watch the movie, and then you can listen to the rest of my channel. Okay, without further ado, I'm gonna go over my top 10 tips, and I know it's gonna piss a lot of you off, so sorry. And again, I'm telling you, I did not do all 10 with both of my kids. I did bits and pieces. It was whatever was reasonable. Yes, I had to work. Some of you have 2 income earners. You know, it is what it is. Okay, number 1, exclusively breastfeed for 1 year. There's nothing new. Your pediatrician told you the exact same thing. It really does make a difference. That means no bottles. And I'm going to reiterate, no bottles. So I did have 1 kid that would absolutely not take a bottle. I had 1 kid that would absolutely not take a boob. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to say who was who. No passies past 3, 4, or 5 months at all. Bury them, throw them away, cut them off, sub them out with something healthy. No baby food. I know that people are going to get mad about that, but guess what? Baby food didn't exist 80 years ago, 100, well, maybe 100 years ago. It is a processed and industrialized society. There was no grinders or blenders. So you know what? In tribal cultures, they're not eating baby food or processed food or food that melts in your mouth. If you can't pick it up and you can't bite it and chew it, you shouldn't be eating it. You should be eating boob. And that's just how it is. So it's boob to Whole Foods. Not Whole Foods the store, but Whole Foods. Not chopped up, anything like that. They need to be able to bite it and eat it. I mean, obviously, I don't want you feeding them grapes and things that are choking hazards. I mean, be reasonable, but you don't have to mush it up, is what I'm getting at. No thumbs, fingers, or foreign objects ever in their mouth, ever, pens, pencils, anything like that. Lips closed when eating. Take a bite, lips closed. I know that now this was definitely a huge thing back in the 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s. I was raised like that. My grandparents would sit there with a spoon at the table and tap, tap, tap if our lips were open when we ate. Lips closed when you eat. You know, same thing, you know, just like no food in your mouth when talking. Lips closed when eating. Eating is eating, talking is talking. It's also good manners, but it also makes a big difference in how the jaws and muscles develop. And nasal patency as well. Lips closed when sleeping. Check on them. Period. If you're going to go to bed later than your kid, check on them. Are their lips closed? Are their lips open? If their lips are open, that should be a red flag that there might be some type of nasal obstruction or some type of allergies that needs to get fixed. Because if it doesn't get fixed and it's happening throughout the night, the jaws are not going to grow properly forward. They're going to grow down and back, potentially, and orthodontic issues will result. potentially, most likely. Every child around 6, 7 should be evaluated for arch expansion to see if they need expanders. If they need them, do them. You know, sometimes I say you could, if it's really minor, maybe you can wait. But for the most part, if they need it, do it if it's needed. It should not be expensive. I'm totally fine with gum, sugar-free gum, especially if it has xylitol, as long as they're not swallowing it and they're spitting it out appropriately in the trash can and wrapping it up. It's actually great for developing the muscles of mastication. It's great for developing forward movements. Again, sugar-free gum with xylitol because it's antibacterial. So it's a win-win. It helps develop the jaws. It helps develop the growth in the right direction. And it's also really good for cleaning the teeth and getting plaque off and food off the teeth. I think I was ahead of my time. I was always chewing sugar-free gum as a teenager and a kid. My parents allowed it. I even did it with braces. I never broke braces. It was fine. It cleaned all the junk out of the braces. But again, sugar-free gum. And if you have braces, definitely not the hard kind, like the I can't remember what the brand, the one that comes in the foil packets, not the ones you have to pop out. Those are hard. It has to be the soft kind, like the Trident. And lastly, don't pull out baby teeth. There's a few exclusions, exceptions that apply, but don't pull them out. Like I said, there's a few exceptions. I have a ton of videos about that. Let nature take them out. Let the tongue push them out. Let them eat an apple to knock it out. I even allow sugar daddies. If you go into my videos, I have one about chewing sugar daddies to pull teeth out. Let nature do it because the tongue pushing them forward helps to widen the arch naturally. If you pull it out, you're going to lose that widening feature. Again, there's a few exceptions. Obviously, if damage is being done, if there's a gum infection, if there's caries, okay, yeah, then you're going to have to pull it out. But you're going to lose that widening potential. So I know on me, as soon as I had 2 rows of lower incisors, my mom was getting them all pulled out. And, you know, in hindsight, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. So I definitely don't recommend that. But, you know, you have to keep it clean. And you have to monitor it. You can't just say, see you in 6 months or 12 months. It has to be monitored very often. All right, those are my top 10 tips. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you.